We begin in the northern Tigray region of Ethiopia, where Amnesty International says a large number of civilians were stabbed or hacked to death on Monday night in Makadra town. Witnesses blame forces loyal to the regional government, the Tigray People's Liberation Front, for the killings. But Tigrayan officials have denied that their troops were involved. The United Nations says the civilian deaths may constitute war crimes. Now, in a video statement on Thursday, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says his forces had liberated the western part of the Tigray from TPLF and accused the regional forces of being responsible for the killings.
It is a victory for the innocent civilians of Makadra that were brutally massacred by TPLF forces this week. It is a victory for the peace-loving and hard-working people of Tigray, who have been isolated from their fellow Ethiopians through the unceasing hate and fear propaganda of TPLF.
On Friday, Ethiopia's parliament appointed a new regional leader for the Tigray region as tens of thousands of Ethiopians continue to flee to neighboring Sudan. The United Nations says it's been unable to restock food and medical supplies. The UN also says it's worried about women, children, and the elderly who are unable to flee and is now appealing to both sides of the conflict to open up a humanitarian corridor. Analysts fear the conflict could lead to a regional war where neighboring countries like Sudan and Eritrea are forced to take sides. Now, let's bring in William Davison. William Davison, I beg your pardon, is a senior analyst with the International Crisis Group. He joins us from Addis Ababa. We still don't have a full picture of the impact of this conflict on the civilian population because comms are down, but your team has been monitoring the situation on the ground. Give us a sense of what's actually happening.
Well, as you note, it is a little bit hard to tell exactly what's happening due to that telecommunications blackout. It's always very difficult to tell what's happening in any conflict situation, of course. But what we do know is that the fighting has been concentrated in West Tigray. West Tigray was also the location of this horrendous mass killing that you've referred to in your report. So the Ethiopian Federal Forces on November the 4th, they entered from the southwest there. They say they've made territorial gains in West Tigray, and presumably the intention is to move east across Tigray towards the capital, Mekelle. Now, part of the ambition there may be to cut off Tigray's sort of wartime supply line, which is to eastern Sudan. The other thing to mention about the conflict is that there has been a campaign of aerial bombardment by the federal forces that's been aimed at military installations, including infrastructure. And Tigray's government, that said it included a strike on the major power station in Tigray as well.
So the government has just appointed a new leader of the Tigray region in the middle of this conflict. How is this supposed to help de-escalate it?
There's been a series of administrative steps taken in Addis Ababa as a result of classifying Tigray's government as unconstitutional and launching a military intervention to remove that government. One of them has been the establishment of a transitional administration or the announcement to do so, and now the appointment of official. But we shouldn't get distracted by this. This is a conflict. It's described as a law enforcement effort by the government, but it's a law enforcement effort using the full scale of the Ethiopian Federal Military to remove the leadership in Tigray. The key elements here for the course of the conflict and for the plight of the civilian population is what sort of resistance are Tigray's forces going to put up. It looks likely that whilst they may well be overpowered eventually, they could well put up a lot of resistance as well. This could cause a lot of suffering for the civilian population and potentially weaken Ethiopia's government and lead to increasing instability in Ethiopia. That is also a possibility.
William Davison, thanks a lot for bringing us the latest on the story. We will keep an eye on it on Africa Matters, and that's the show for now. Thank you.